I continued to, I wasn't walking with the Lord this time, I want you to know. I joined and rushed a sorority, Alpha Chi Omega, and that, in the fall term, was probably the worst for my health because I got access to alcohol, I got access to parties, I got access to late nights, I got access to boys, and I just wasn't aware of what I was doing to my body and how I was treating my body. So fall term was a great time for me. I had a great time. And then I come home for Christmas break, and I go to the hospital, and they give me a medicine to prevent me from having atrial flutter. I was in the hospital for about 2 to 3 days. Everything was fine, normal. And then I get back up to the university, winter term. Now, winter term was a hard term because I even partied even more than I did in fall term, and I pushed myself even more, and I took even harder classes. So I was running around insane. And then about a week when I got up there, after a week of my first winter term, I started to have chest pains as I walked. I would walk from here to that door, and I could have to stop. It took me about 3 breaks. Like every time to go to class, I have to stop 3 times. And it was, if you ever had heartburn, it's like that. It was like the middle of my chest just kind of pressing. And I called my mom again, and they took me off the medication and realized that the medicine itself was causing me to have atrial flutter. So, well, that's grand. That's one medicine. Now I have to have another trial and another medicine. So after spring break comes around, I continued to party all winter term. Okay, I continued to push my body. I just continued. I didn't listen to anything that was coming my way. Okay, I did it my own way. And then spring term comes around, and spring break, I go back up to Portland to get administered a new drug to prevent atrial flutter. Was in there for 2 or 3 days. It was fine. I was fine. I get back up to the university. Goodbye, Mom. Okay, so now it's spring term. And spring term was really awesome. I thought it was going to be awesome because I finally stopped my business classes and I was taking family and human services, and I thought that's what I wanted to do with my life, was to help people in family and human services, like a social work. And so the beginning of the term was really awesome, but the 3rd day of class, I was walking with my friend Mo, and I was walking up the corridor and like through the amphitheater, and I remember that I started walking to the side, and I couldn't walk straight. I was kind of veering like this, and I started to slur my words. And she's like, turns around and she's like, Lindsay, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine, I just want to go to class. And then I step forward and I fall over. And then luckily our friend Ted was there, and he comes and swoops me up, from what I remember, and takes me down to the health center. And then I become conscious and aware at this moment, at this time, and the doctors come in and ask me questions, and I tell them what happens. And then they asked my friend Mo, what did you see? And they're like, she said when she was talking to me that half my face was frozen to the side. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I just have a stroke? And at age 19, that's huge. And I think at that point, I finally realized that something was wrong. And so she takes me down to Portland, where my mom meets me there. And to confirm what happened, they did a test where they put a camera down your throat and into your heart, and I did indeed have a blood clot, and I did indeed have a TIA, which is known as a mini stroke. And I think at that moment it hit me that I actually did have a condition, and that I actually did probably need to watch what I was doing, and that I was special and I was different than other people. Because that entire time in Oregon, I thought I was completely normal, and I thought I was invincible. I thought I was on top of the world. And then I reevaluate everything, and I talk it over with my mom, and I decide that I should probably come home and get better. And I remember the last day when I said goodbye to my friends in spring term, and I was packing to go home. I packed my duck, which represented my university, which represented the pride I had for my university. I packed my alcohol and my party life, because I wasn't ready to give that up yet. I also packed my sorority and what that meant on all the friends I made through that. And I packed my friends and my memories and my pictures. and I was going to pack this all up, and I was determined that I was going to keep that suitcase in San Diego, not open it, and get back up to University of Oregon. But I want to just express to you that that day of leaving the university was the hardest day of my life, because I knew, I never told anyone, but I knew that I was never going to be back there. That my dream of having this college experience was never going to happen. And that something radical in my life and something that was going to change in my life was going to be in San Diego. And so I remember that that day I was packing, I was just bawling. I was getting letters from my friends, everyone coming and saying goodbye to me. And I knew in my heart that I would never be up there to go back to school again. And so that was the hardest day of my life. But that's just the beginning. So then I traveled back to San Diego. And I'm going to keep my suitcase here because I was determined to make my dream happen. Even if I knew it wasn't going to happen, I was going to keep that suitcase closed because I was going to go back up to the university.